Nepal, the birthplace of Buddhism. A magical and mysterious land in which legends such as the fabled Shangri-La and the elusive Yeti have dominated culture for generations. But a new story has emerged. One that is being seen as a modern miracle, something only possible through the spiritual power of Buddhism.
It's a phenomenon that people draw great pride and inspiration from here.
Ram Bonjan, a 15-year-old boy, has been meditating in dense jungle without food or water for 10 months. Many suggest he is a physiological and cognitive freak, with such immense power of mind over matter that it could change the way we look at modern science and medicine forever.
If he's truly gone without food and water, it's difficult to explain on a purely scientific basis, so you'd have to bring in spirituality in here.
As millions of pilgrims flock to the site, we'll explore the truth.
To see that in the middle of Nepal, in the middle of all the crowds around, that's very, very special and very questioning, of course.
Is he the second coming? Buddha reincarnate?
I studied similar cases in past, and this is possible.
Ram has never been scientifically tested. He sits undisturbed as millions watch his every move.
If he did the same thing in Birmingham or in Baltimore, appeals to a certain consciousness now, looking for some saint, some figure, someone who can perform miracles at a time when life seems so tawdry and broken and uncertain.
We have to fight our way through just to get a glimpse from the 50-meter fence. People have come from far and wide. Here we start recording. By the end of our first day, Ram has not moved a muscle since we began filming 8 hours previously.
If you wanted to prove that he really wasn't taking any fluid at all, you would have to film continuously for at least 4 to 5 days.
Paul Ram Bonjan, a 15-year-old boy, has been meditating in the hollow of a tree for 10 months. He plans to continue for 6 years.
I do know of the case of a medical student who did survive without food for something like 43 days, but he was able to survive on snow.
So far, his supporters claim he has not eaten or drunk anything. We're into our second day, 27 hours into filming. Still not enough to prove if this is a miracle. To find out the truth, we're staying on site day and night to film continuously for another 69 hours, as this is the time it takes for an average human being to die without any water.
I would say from day 2, your skin is going to get rough.
The similarities are uncanny. Siddhartha, the Buddha, was born a mere 150 miles away, to a mother with the same name, Maya Devi. Both chose to meditate for 6 years under the same type of tree and follow a life of abstinence. Buddha eventually found enlightenment through meditation, and that is what Ram is trying to achieve. One story that started the legend was that poisonous snakes bit him on 2 separate occasions.
I saw him after the snake bite, and he looked very pale.
Cobras and vipers are common to the area, and their bite is fatal.
Because of his meditation, he flew, the poison.
The boy himself does seem to have some spiritual powers.
If we were bitten by a snake, we were already gone. Just because of his pure meditation, he's alive.
Would be susceptible to illnesses.
He's got no ability to maintain an immune response or to support an immune response, and it does increase his risk of dying from an acute infection.
Some of them could live without food and water for many years, not many months.
In modern literature, Giribala, the non-eating saint, survived without food and water for 66 years, the longest time on record. Today there are many that claim extreme fasting, from Pilot Baba, who survived underwater for 5 days without breathing, to Yog Mata, who buried herself alive for 72 hours.
Even in Buddhist philosophy, there are people like that.
Very little is known of Sakya, one of the 4 Buddhist traditions. Its leaders keep their teachings a closely guarded secret.
Buddha's teaching or our practice is not for your fame, not for your reputation, not to collect so many disciples. We usually don't expose much. We have another meditator. He has been doing this for the last 30 years. Today, his hairs are so long that
To endure solitary existence in extreme conditions, yogic techniques enable you to focus your mind over your body's suffering.
Obviously, if he's genuine, has to use some yogic techniques.
To understand what type of yogic technique Ram is practicing from the Sakya tradition of teaching, the Lama sits and stares at the boy.
I'm amazed by this immense, the intensity of his determination. He told his mother that he was going to sit there for 6 years and reach Buddhahood, you know, which is very rare. I mean, nobody says that, you know.
They sit facing each other for more than an hour in what seems to turn into a meditation duel. Sweat starts to form on Ram's face despite a lack of movement and an air temperature of only 15 degrees centigrade.
To suddenly start pouring sweat from the face is a very strange phenomenon. He's managing to control his body's physiological process, which no one has demonstrated before. It's not something you ever see in Western society, so how that's being controlled is beyond my level of knowledge.
when he was sitting down, I was doing my meditation. Actually, I was competing. And you know that the sweat came down.
Okay, so why did you...
In ancient Buddhist texts, it is written there is a yogic technique called tumo, which
tree. So it's very rare, especially nowadays, to hear that somebody is doing it in front of everybody like that. I mean, totally live. That's why he's so strong. That's why he's so impressive.
So I truly believe he's a Buddha from the past life. And coming to this lifetime at a young age.
Well, you know, research has much less food can be...
On returning from the monastery in India, Ram spent an unhappy 5 months at home before leaving to meditate in the jungle. His meditation was disturbed many times before fences were set up to protect him. Left at the site to continue filming to prove Ram doesn't move. Bonjan has been sitting under a tree in the jungle of southern Nepal. His supporters claim without food or water for 10 months. 48 hours ago, we started filming continuously, day and night. Just what should his body be going through?
By day 3, you stop producing urine. The person's blood pressure will fall because there's not enough fluid in the system to maintain the circulation.
I think he's practicing types of ancient yogic exercises where you can feed on one breath or feed on the element in the air.
So far, we've not seen anything to suggest he's being fed or allowed to leave the site. There's only one way out, and that is where we observe from. And we are not the only ones to be doing an investigation. Ram Bhakta Gurung and his science team have been doing independent research for the government and have been observing Buddha Boy for 6 days.
Even there is from morning to evening, like this meditation, it's not normal.
Overnight, the temperature reaches a low of 3 degrees centigrade, the coldest night yet since our arrival. The investigators and security shiver under blankets, but Ram is wearing just a thin cloth.
What you should see in a cold evening is him physically shivering. So if he isn't shivering, he's managing to suppress the natural urge to maintain his body temperature at 36.8 degrees centigrade.
Nothing is fact. Until now. A scientific breakthrough claiming evidence to suggest that extreme fasting may indeed be possible has just reached us from another part of the world.
It's all really so exciting to me because I studied similar cases in past and I can understand this is possible.
Dr. Shah's most famous case is Prahlad Jani, a holy man who claims he has not eaten or drunk anything since he was 12.
I haven't eaten anything, not even now, even though I'm 80 years old.
That made me really quite excited because I knew that this is something going to change the feeling of medical world.
Prahlad Jani recently spent 10 days in observation watched and filmed 24 hours a day.
Minute to minute, second to second. And he was kept in a cabin which was sealed from outside. The bathroom was sealed. One of my assistants would remain with him all throughout 24 hours in changing duty. Doctors would come throughout the day at different time, which was not be told to him. And we made sure that nothing can go wrong, in the sense medical world should know that there was not a single loophole.
For us to have any chance of replicating the doctor's findings, we must head back to Nepal and set up once again from the beginning for 4 days and 4 nights of continuous recording and observation. However, when we get back to the site, we are met with a very different scenario. While we were away, 59 people witnessed Ram spontaneously burst into flames as fire erupted from his chest.
On the 5th of January, Wednesday, around 8 o'clock, we saw fire coming from him. He stood and threw the cloth in front of him and was naked in the middle of a burning fire. And then after some time, in a very soft voice, he called for his brother. He asked for a red robe to be thrown over him. He wrapped the cloth over his body and he said, let him concentrate on his meditation and do not disturb him.
The report sent to the government states that the boy should be left undisturbed to complete his meditation and not to be tested scientifically.
Whatever he is doing there, it is his personal right.
Everybody is speaking in Nepal, you know, the Maoists are speaking, the political parties are speaking, and this guy just sit there like a silent prophet.
Eventually, we are allowed to film. We reset our cameras to record the next 4 days and nights, the length of time it takes for a human to die without fluid. This is the only way we can prove if he is genuine or not. After 48 hours of continuous observation, Ram still hasn't moved.
What is almost unbelievable is the fact that this child manages to stay in the same position during waking hours and sleeping hours.
Try sitting for 30 minutes or an hour, 3 hours, not moving.
It is the most challenging thing he is doing it. Incredible.
A few hours later, he begins fidgeting and jerking.
What you probably notice if you scrutinise your footage very carefully is that there are very small changes. What he's actually doing is shifting balance maybe from one buttock to another to relieve pressure points and allow blood flow back to that tissue.
The relaxed environment suddenly changes. When word goes through the camp, there is a tiger loose in the site. Is it for real? After a thorough search, tiger prints are discovered. We realize how vulnerable the boy really is. We wonder if Ram is the innocent victim in this spectacle. Ram appears to show no classic signs of degeneration through fluid loss, but a closer look at our footage might help us understand his physical and mental health. We've been observing Ram Bonjan continuously in the jungles of Nepal for 86 hours. In that time, we've not seen him take any food or fluid, or show any signs of dehydration. An average human should be just a few hours away from death.
With a prolonged deficiency of food and water, your brain is going to lack the glucose, you're not going to have enough fluid in your system.
As you progress without those fluids, you become delirious. On day 4, that confusion will get worse. You may start fitting.
In the beginning, he used to walk around this tree in the morning chanting mantras. After that, he meditated for 3 months before going into the deep trance that he's in today.
After a thorough search inside the tree and the ground area surrounding Ram, there's nothing suspicious.
The people in this area, they don't tell lies. They tell the truth that you have. That is also the proof.
After 96 hours of filming, Ram has defied modern science by continuing his meditation and remaining alive. Many of the pilgrims at the site are from a scientific background and are torn by what they see. Is he a miracle?
We have whole religions built around miracles. Jesus rose from the grave. Millions of people believe that. That's the center and core of their religion. How do we say in another culture it's not possible? Everything is possible.
All should explore the benefits of this kind of fasting.
The media people should not create confusion. He will show the truth himself.
After 6 years, he will bring the proof to the world. He will tell the truth by himself. I am this, I will do this, and I want to get this. I appeal to all the people in the world not to talk and say bad things about him.
No one really knows what Ram is thinking, how he is surviving, or if he is Buddha. And so it turned out. March the 13th, 2006, events took a turn that no one could have anticipated. Ram disappeared. Some reports suggest he's gone deeper into the jungle to continue his meditation in peace, undisturbed. Perhaps Ram has decided against being a scientific miracle or a religious icon.
भिक्षुगणलाई प्रणाम, धर्मसङ्घलाई पनि प्रणाम। संसारको मनुष्य तथा प्राणीको उद्धार गर्न र मुक्ति दिन मलाई त्रिरत्न भगवान
महामहायान यानिक महाएप्पा धर्मको शरणमा छु, सर्व भिक्षुगणको शरणमा छु, सर्व सर्वे धर्म सङ्घको शरणमा छु। आर्याचार्य प्राणी बुद्ध ज्ञानी आर्यजनको हिर्सतामा छु, सर्व जगत प्राणीलाई प्रबुद्ध मैत्रीय ज्ञानको शरणमा दर्शन गराउँछु।
Your